Hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode in my F1 2018 career mode. In case you missed the announcement video that I did a couple of months ago, I think it was, I chose McLaren as my team, and I'm going to be choosing Fernando Alonso as my teammate. I'll be doing full qualifying as per usual, 50% races, 102 AI for now, or 103, I can't remember what I set, but everything else will be normal. So without further ado, let's get into this career mode and let's see how we get on.
Thanks for coming by. I'm sure you're very anxious to get out on track. It's taken a lot of effort to get to F1. Congratulations. But the real work starts now. This is...
Claire, motorsports journalist. Nice to meet you. You'll be seeing quite a lot of me throughout the season. So, you had a pretty impressive junior career. How are you feeling about your move into F1? Do you think you have what it takes?
Let's save the questions for a proper interview, shall we? I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about once there's been some action on track. I think we could fit you in after FP1 if you're free.
That works for me. I'll grab you the second you finish on the track.
Remember, the relationship you have with the team can be affected by what you say to the media, so be careful. Anyway, it's time to catch up with Carl. He's waiting for you in the data center. Good luck out there today.
Welcome to the data center. Here, we've got access to all kinds of information, including car telemetry, weather, lap times, tyre wear, the list goes on. Plus, we've got a direct link back to the factory, so we're in constant communication with the team there. We need you to regularly feedback about areas of the car that are lacking and help us direct our resources in the most productive way. More effort here equals a quicker car, so it's well worth the effort. Good luck this season. Oh, and make us all look good, okay?
Welcome to your new team. McLaren are one of the most successful teams in the sport, and they've reinvented themselves over the past few years. They demand excellence from all areas of their organization, and they'll expect you to integrate yourself and get up to speed from the first race.
Here we are in the McLaren motorhome after all the introduction stuff has been completed. Obviously we'll be going to first practice in a minute, but just going to check out all the emails that I've got first. Some of the prediction there, it says they want me to finish 12th, I think, a minimum race position, so that might be a bit difficult. But yeah, and the weather is going to be, there's going to be no rain over the weekend, so that's good.
Here you can see the pertinent details about your current contract. On one side are the objectives and bonuses that we've negotiated with the team. On the other is information regarding how you're perceived throughout the paddock, your reputation with the current team, and your overall value to them, which is a combination of these elements. Winning rivalries is a great way to earn respect from your team and around the paddock, which will help make it easier to negotiate favorable contracts. Your first rival is always your teammate, but you can choose who to declare as your second. The harder the rival from the eligible selection, the more respect you stand to gain or lose depending on the result.
So obviously at the minute we have Fernando Alonso as our rival. We haven't had an opportunity to choose our actual rival yet, but there's our career stats, obviously nothing yet. But heading into the more important bit is the R&D tree. Obviously McLaren are not very good in terms of power, along with all the Renault teams, and the Honda there, of Toro Rosso Honda there, just a little bit behind. In the chassis, we're kind of in the middle. Like with about the same as Renault, but we're a long way behind the top three teams. I mean, in every department, and we're also in the middle along with Aero as well. So I don't really know what to go for. I might start off with the engine just to get it, you know, all going and all that. I did ask Carl what he wanted to, what his recommended upgrade was, and he said engine, so I decided to do it. But without further ado, let's get into our first practice session of this 2018 season.
Welcome to our viewers from around the globe. You join us just as today's practice session for the Australian Grand Prix is about to start. Welcome then to all our viewers and of course to Anthony Davidson as well. Now Ant, I wanted to ask you, obviously there's a lot of hard work involved in these sessions, a lot of simulations as well. Is this something the drivers enjoy, or is it just a routine that becomes a chore?
There's nothing routine about driving a Formula 1 car, I can tell you that. 300 kilometers per hour down the straights, 4G through the corners. It's hard to ignore those forces acting on your body. It's lap after lap of hard, exhausting work. You always enjoy driving these cars. It's a real privilege. Although I must say, if you're having a day where you can't get the car to do what you want and it's generally underperforming, then it's a lot harder to stay motivated. But never a chore, no. Even if you're having a tough start to the weekend, at this point you know that if you work hard at it, there's still an opportunity to turn things around.
Morning, Jeff here. I'm looking forward to working with you as your race engineer. Hope you've had a good night's sleep because we've got a lot of work to do today to prep for the season ahead. We're ready to fire up the car, so why not head out and get a few laps under your belt?
So here we are then on the track doing our track acclimatization as the first practice program. Obviously easy, all purple apart from one corner, which I think I missed the apex by like a metre, so I think that's a bit harsh. Moving on to the tyre wear test, I think this is. We managed to complete that as well, so it's going well so far. Obviously all these were in last year's game, so it shouldn't be that hard to do, to be honest. I think the toughest one will be ERS deployment test, because I have that on manual. The fuel saving was also quite easy, to be honest. It was really strange. I don't know why everything was so easy to do. It was really weird. Maybe it was the car, maybe it's very efficient in terms of all that stuff. But here's the ERS deployment management test. I only just about managed to do it, mainly because I put it into low on the start finish straight, so that was okay. It was tricky, don't get me wrong, because it was in the red most of the lap, but it's going to take some getting used to, I'm going to say that right now. Moving on to the qualifying pace program, we managed to go second. Wow. Obviously, all the other drivers haven't used the Ultrasoft yet. I think I'm the only one that's used it. So I wouldn't really look much into that in terms of like, oh, you're running in too much easy difficulty and all that. Because obviously it's practice and not every driver uses every single compound in practice.
An interesting practice session there then. Let's remind ourselves of the top three, who are Bottas, Williams and Sebastian Vettel. Thank you for joining us for free practice today. We'll be back with more Formula 1 action very shortly.
So a solid practice session there then, all the programs completed, and now we have an interview with Claire that hopefully will go quite well and will increase the rep of something.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. It's been a lot of hard work, but here you are making your debut in Formula 1. You must be thrilled. So how are you finding things at the team? Are you settling in? What are you expecting out of this season? Are you just aiming to find your feet in Formula 1, or do you see something more? Appreciate your time.
So that was a very interesting bit of questions there from Claire. Just to stop all the rumours going around and all that, I will not be answering questions for the sake of increasing something. I will be doing it for what I think is right. Just like I'll be answering the questions with what I think would be the right answer, with what I'd answer in real life, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't be going for specific answers to increase sportsmanship or showmanship or the rep with the team or something like that. I wouldn't do that, because that would just be weird and unusual to do. So yeah, with that said, I don't know why I just stopped there, but anyway, with that said, let's get into qualifying.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
So here we are then, starting our first ever lap on F1 2018. Hopefully we'll get out of Q1. We should be able to. The car is quick enough at the moment to get out of Q1, and hopefully I can set a good enough lap to, get out of Q1. Because if I don't get out of Q1, that's slightly embarrassing. So here we are now coming around the final corner, and we are going to set a 122.7. Wow, that's interesting. Gone faster than an Alonso, which is good. And there is the final classification for Q1. We did manage to get through in 6th place. Fernando managed to qualify in 10th, so that's good. Sebastian Vettel there in 8th, but he was on the super softs, so it's not really that bad. Red Bull's in 2nd and 3rd though, that's not bad. Cutting on to Q2 then, coming around to start our first lap of the session. Obviously the sun has gone down a bit. I mean this game just looks incredible, to be honest. They've upgraded it massively on the last game, I'm not gonna lie. Like obviously with YouTube's compression you won't be able to get the full sense of the engine on how good it looks, but you'll get a good enough sense. Like it won't take away all of it completely. But as we finish our Q2 lap then, we just about managed to scrape through in 7th, and Fernando actually got through as well. So the car does have the pace. Like I'm not just being unusually fast. The car does have the pace because Fernando is getting through as well. So that's good, and Grosjean and Sainz managed to join us as well, and obviously the top 6 is as you expect. Moving on to Q3 then, where the times actually matter. Hopefully we can get a good starting position. Coming across the line to start our first lap. As you can see, it's gone a bit dull and overcast in Australia, so hopefully the track temperatures won't affect our laps that much. As we see Kimi Raikkonen setting a 1:21.9. I'm not getting anywhere near that, I'm not going to lie. Nowhere near that. As we cross the line, we set a 1:22.8, is that? I can't quite tell with the preview screen. But I think it's a 1:22.8. And then Sebastian Vettel just goes a second faster than me. Just as you do, just casually goes a second faster. But at the minute we are currently 7th, so that's not bad. The best of the rest, as they say in real life. As we start a second lap just to consolidate our place in 7th because the track does it quicker. We're coming around the final corner now, and we are actually going a bit quicker. We're going about 0.2 faster, I think that says. So we're not bad. As we come across the line then, we are in... where are we? 7th place. So that's not bad for a first qualifying session. It could have been worse. It could have been last. And we're only 8/10 off pole as well. Obviously, Australia isn't that long of a track, but to be within a second of a Ferrari and a McLaren isn't that bad. So who knows what could happen with that. So yeah, that's quali over and done with. So after that quali session, then it was it's quite good that we managed to qualify 7th, best of the rest, and hopefully we can get a good race result from that. Who knows what might happen in the race? All the leaders might crash into each other and we lead the race by the first corner. I highly doubt that'll happen, but who knows what could happen with this new AI, because from what I've seen, they are quite feisty. They do go for moves where you wouldn't normally expect them to go for. So who knows what could happen in the race. As you can see there, all our reputation stuff has gone up and down and all that stuff. So without further ado, let's get into the first race of the season, and let's see if we can improve on our 7th place from qualifying.
New New drivers, new cars, and a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that hosts the first round of a 21 race championship, taking us from here in Melbourne, Australia, across the globe before we eventually reach the season finale at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. Here's the track then, 16 corners, 6 to the left and 10 to the right. They make up the 3.3 miles around Albert Park Lake, with turn 1 and 3 providing the best opportunities to pass. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with the addition of new safety features, the return of France and Germany in an expanded 21-race calendar, and more tyre compounds than ever before. And of course, we have some big car manufacturers back in the sport too, with Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin returning as title sponsors for Sauber and Red Bull respectively. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2018 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here. I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 4th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season, it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the relative performance of McLaren and Toro Rosso, who have exchanged power unit suppliers this year. And given the additional restrictions on engine components, they need to be strong in terms of both performance and reliability.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Raikkonen, Max Verstappen, Williams, Sainz, Grosjean, Alonso, and Nico Hülkenberg, Ocon, Magnussen, Sergio Perez, and Hartley, Ricciardo, Gasly, Charles Leclerc, and Lance Stroll, Ericsson, and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, we qualified higher than we were anticipating. Let's see if we can do just as well in the race.
I will certainly try my best to do just as well in the race, but as you can see then, we've been promoted to P6 after Daniel Ricciardo had a penalty of some sort. I don't know why. I don't know why they'd have to change any engine parts already after this first race. Maybe he had an issue in qualifying, maybe they had to change something park firming, I don't know. But that's very strange as to why he has a penalty. But our strategy today then is going to be 2-stop. Coming off the Ultras very early on and then going on to the Super Softs twice. So here we are then for the 5 red lights. We've got 4 lights, it's 5 lights. Lights out and away we go for the Australian Grand Prix. We've got off to a relatively decent start there compared to the AI. As we've come alongside Max Verstappen, now we're going to go down the inside of Max Verstappen. Maybe now we're going to take it very cautiously. We tuck in behind Max Verstappen now, and we go down the inside. And for some reason he braked on the exit of the corner there. And now we have the 2 Mercs and Raikkonen going side by side. Well, the 2 Mercs going side by side. Raikkonen is just holding back here a little bit, and so am I now. So they slow each other up here a lot, and I managed to get into the situation with Raikkonen now. We're going to go down the inside of a Ferrari here. I mean, I really wasn't expecting to say that in the first race of the season, but we've now gone up into 4th place. Is that 5th place? I can't remember. But here's a replay of the move as we just dive it down the inside, then down Kimi Raikkonen, and he's actually lost some time there. So that's something. I mean, Vettel on that replay camera then has just got a huge lead already, just because the Mercs thing goes side by side of each other. But then we've now got Kimi Raikkonen going down the inside of us here into this chicane, and that really wasn't going to work. I mean, it would have been amazing if he made it stick, but he's now going to have another go here, coming up to this right-hander, and he gives us a tag on the outside, but luckily we managed to defend from him there just about. And now moving on to lap 3 of the Grand Prix, we are in the same section of the track once again. Kimi Raikkonen is now going to go around the outside of us here. He runs deep, and we managed to just get past him once again. So Kimi Raikkonen not having the best of races in terms of sticking to overtakes, but here we have our teammate Fernando Alonso then, who's being attacked by the Haas of Roman Grosjean, I think that is, and they go side by side through this section, and I think Fernando just about managed to keep ahead, but he has got a huge train behind him, I will admit. as we now have Kimi Raikkonen going down the inside of us, and he's actually managed to make a move stick for once, so that's great. Here we are now on the replay cameras. As you can see, I wasn't really expecting him to make a move, but he just came out of nowhere. It must have been DRS, and he's gone down the inside of us there. So now we have Max Verstappen behind us for company, as Raikkonen's just gone. But unfortunately for Verstappen, but luckily for us, we come into the pit lane for our first pit stop of the Grand Prix, going on to a set of super softs along with Kimi Raikkonen. So hopefully we come out some clean air. I don't know if we will, because of that huge train that Fernando had behind him. I don't know how far behind, unless it's already gone through. I don't know, but it looks like we've come out in clear air. We also had Sainz behind us as well, pit. So yeah, we've come out in clear air in P17, P18, I think, is that? Sainz has actually been jumped by Grosjean. But here we actually, on the next lap, we actually have our teammate coming into the pit lane now. And I think he was the only one that went in as well. But you'll see the huge train that he was leading go past him now. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's just a huge train. But now, looking ahead of us now, we now have Kimi Raikkonen going around the outside of Williams going into the chicane. And he's gonna make it stick, I think. He has. And that is a hell of a move from the AI. I mean, well done. And now, as we catch up to the back of, I think it's Sorokin, after Raikkonen's overtaken, we're going to go down the inside of the Williams. It is the worst car on the grid after all, so that shouldn't be difficult. And we're now up into 13th place after a load of people have pitted. So yeah, it's been a solid race so far. A lot of overtakes, which I like, as you can see there, Kimi Raikkonen overtaking the Williams with Stroll, and we came out ahead of Verstappen as well by quite a long way. So that was a bit surprising. But we now have the Williams and the Sauber going side by side with each other. I'm going to take a bit of this action, and I'm going to go down the inside of Stroll here. And now I'm now going to go try and overtake Ericsson as well, because they don't want to be stuck behind the Sauber for too long. Seeming as they are the two worst cars on the grid, as we now have DRS put up into overtake mode. He moves across, and we're going to go around the outside, hopefully make it stick. Around the outside into the first corner, but there's contact. And Ericsson is round, and I don't know whose fault that is, because I was pretty much on the edge of the circuit, so I couldn't go anywhere. I don't know if Ericsson locked up at all. It didn't look like he did. I personally don't think I cut across him, but you know, whatever. But it's happened. It's a racing incident, and we now have Kimi Raikkonen going down the inside of Brendan Hartley here. As I mean, he's lost a lot of time to me, if I'm honest, because he was way ahead of me. And when Brendan Hartley's locked up now, he's forced us wide, but we're still going to make the move stick. And that is, I mean, that's a hell of a move, if I do say so myself. That's a great move. I wasn't expecting that to work, if I'm honest. But we're now catching up to the other Toro Rosso, Gasly, as Raikkonen is overtaking him once again. And he's gone deep, and he's held us up quite a bit there, to be honest. Are we going to go down the inside of this corner? We are. He's given us the room. I might have tapped his rear wheel there by accident, but who knows what happened there. But we now have Max Verstappen now behind us. That is me up the road. There I am. So he's closing up massively. He's going to go around the outside of Pierre Gasly, is he? I mean, he's going to do the same move as Raikkonen did on Stroll, or Sorokin was that? I can't remember. But we now have Kevin Magnussen out of the Grand Prix. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. On board Gasly, and there he is, just going slowly. I don't know what all that's about. On the off-board now, you can just see in the background, he just pulls off to the side of the road really slowly. That's odd. But we now jump up into P3 after all the other drivers have pit, and we now have Max Verstappen going down the inside of us as well. And I think he's going to make the move stick, because he will have DRS on the exit of this corner. And yeah, unfortunately, he's made the move stick. I was going to go for a move there, but I thought best not, because it's a long race. But we're now coming in for a set of soft tyres. I decided to change the strategy because the super softs just didn't really feel that great, if I'm honest. As soon as they got past 30% warm, they were just gone. Like, I was just sliding all over the track, and it was terrible, to be honest. So we're coming in for a set of soft tyres, going to end the Grand Prix, 13 laps, and hopefully, well, it'll be technically 12 now, because it'll tick over to 17. Yeah, there we go. as we now come out in some clear air, actually, with the clear just behind us pitting as well, I think he did. So this has been a solid Grand Prix so far. We now have our teammate Fernando Alonso once again coming in for his pit stop, and he was in a Force India sandwich there, so that's interesting that one of the Force Indias has managed to jump him. I think that's happened anyway, and that's me there behind. So that's how much time he's lost, and we now have yellow flags in this sector. And who's retired here? There's a Kimi Raikkonen is at the Grand Prix. What? I mean, wow, that was unexpected. Unfortunately, not much happened in this stint, apart from that. But that's terrible for him on the first Grand Prix of the season. We're now going to try and go down the inside of Esteban Ocon here. With 3 laps to go, we're going to go down the inside of Esteban Ocon, and we make the move stick, and we managed to get 8th place. Is that? Yes, 8th in the Australian Grand Prix, and that's a very important move because I did have the Renault of Hulkenberg in the distance there in the background, closing in on me quite a bit. So that's quite good, and now we can try and go after his teammate and try and get him before the end of the Grand Prix. And straight after that, there was a VSC. I don't know why, nothing happened. It wasn't for Kimi Raikkonen because that was 3 laps ago. So I don't know what happened there, to be honest. Quite strange for it to randomly happen, but it only lasted for like half a lap. So actually not even that, to be honest. So who knows what happened there. But going back to racing speed then, trying to go after Sergio Perez now. But coming on to the final corner of the Grand Prix then, we now have Valtteri Bottas coming across the line to win the first Grand Prix of the season. And I wasn't expecting that. There's a Ferrari in the background as well, so we didn't win by much. And unfortunately, we never managed to catch up to Sergio Perez. We caught up quite a bit, but 8th place is more than satisfying for the first Grand Prix of the season.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well though, there's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And now it's time to wind down and celebrate after that fantastic Grand Prix. Here they come, your top 3, out onto the podium. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the Drivers' Table. Valtteri Bottas takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Moving on to the Driver of the Day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
I think I'm going to give it to Daniel Ricciardo. He's come through the field so well today, you know, well deserved.
On to the Constructors then. Mercedes move to the top of the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
So after the first round then, obviously the driver standings are going to look exactly the same as the finishing result. Bottas wins from Vettel, Hamilton, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Perez, myself, Ocon, Sainz and Hartley and Gasly. Alonso didn't really have the best race, if I'm honest. Obviously Raikkonen and Magnussen both retired, so that's unfortunate for them. Not really the best of starts for Kimi Raikkonen. Obviously the driver standings is going to look exactly the same as the result from the first Grand Prix, so not much has really changed there, to be honest. Both the Toro Rossos did well though. I mean, fair play to them, 11th and 12th, that's not bad. Haas not really had the best first race of the season, to be honest. And the constructors, Mercedes are top from Red Bull, Ferrari, Renault, Force India, McLaren, Williams, Toro Rosso and Sauber. 4 teams there without a single point. But without further ado then, let's go and talk to Claire and see what she has to say about that race result.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy.
You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret? It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
Great. Well, that's everything.
So that was a very interesting interview there. I don't know what she meant by scrape the walls a few times. I never went near a wall. Very strange question to ask. And I'm assuming the crash she was on about was, I'm assuming she was on about Ericsson. But I have no idea what happened there, to be honest. Yeah, that was the first Grand Prix this season. Hope you all enjoyed. We now have over 2,000 points. For some reason, finishing one place below where you qualify means the reputation with the current team goes down by that much. I don't know why. We're getting closer to veteran, and we are being more sportsmanship than showmanship. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Please do leave a like and a comment, and hopefully the next Grand Prix will be as entertaining as that. Obviously the next Grand Prix will be Bahrain, but just before we get into that, I did decide to buy all of the first steps of the R&D tree, simply because we had a load of points, and I decided to do that. I decided to buy the front rear wing main flap instead of the rear one, because I felt like the car was very, well, in real life it's very draggy, so I decided to do that as well, to try and get the drag down a little bit, buying all the reliability stuff as well, and obviously I bought the engine before the weekend started, so all that should be in by China, I think it was. So hope you all enjoyed this episode. Please do leave a like and a comment and subscribe for more, and the second episode of this career will be out in a few days, I hope. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave a like and a comment, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.